Welcome to this show. It's about ancestry. We have objects here from the Bembe people, the Bembe, and the Fang. And we have some reliquary figures and some protectors of the reliquary figures. And we're going to talk also about the photography of Adger Cowans that has, in this case, to do with this century Afro-American ancestors that affected us all, no matter what color, around the world. And of course, you're going to talk about Malcolm X and then a lot of other greats. So this is the objects that you see from the Fang will be, well, first of all, let me go back a little bit. The object that have white color has to do with ancestry directly, because this is the period of cleaning. When you died and before you're reborn, you go through this cleaning, which in many cases is represented by Cowans for purification and healing. And then you're reborn, and then you live your life supposedly a positive life. And if you don't clean up after you die, then you don't come back. So, and then we have one of the things in Africa, pretty much across Africa, the greatest sin you can commit is not to remember your ancestors. Okay, because they lived through you. Not only physically, but in your life. They formed you. So in Ifa we have two things. We have two heads. One is your Ori, which is your brain, which actually is a deity. It's an Orisha. Not only an Orisha, and it's Imale. It's a universal Orisha. And you have your belly button, which is your Ori Inu, which is the DNA connection to your mother's mother, all the way to the first woman. And those two things are balancing your life. So your ancestors are present in your blood and your being, and then your head decides what you're going to do. So I will give you a little talk about some of the objects that are here. This is a Fang object. And of course, they're very appreciated for their aesthetics and their balance. See the little charge here? And it's got copper, which is reinforcing the feminine aspect of her. That's another Fang piece. And here's one that's three heads. And next to them are the Bembe people, which have beautiful scarifications. There's one there holding the egg. Also, you have the thing with the Akan, you're holding the egg. So, now I'm going to introduce Adger, and then he'll go over and photograph things. So, Adger, come up.
Ray got me into this.
I
don't know what he's talking about.
All right, so I want to ask you some questions.
Ask me some questions.
Okay, that's going to make it easier.
Okay.
All right, I want to know, when you took the picture of Malcolm, what was your state of mind? What did you feel at the time? And what do you think now? Let's go back first to the time you took the picture.
I was living in Harlem at that time, and I would get up every day with my camera and go walk the streets. It was a hot summer day, and all I had on my mind was, I want to get out of this heat, and I'm ready to go home. And I was turning to go home, and then everybody started running, and there was Malcolm. So I couldn't get close. I had a 180 millimeter 2.8 lens, so I stood back and I shot him. I shot about 5 different shots in that same position. I happened to like this one and another one. But then I went home and my wife said, "Where have you been all day?" I said, "I just photographed Malcolm X." Oh, he's making trouble for people, talking about, the white people this and the white people that. Everybody wasn't so happy about Malcolm when he first hit the scene. There were a lot of people who was, oh, I can't stand that guy. You know, a lot of black people just, oh man, he's gonna make trouble. We're gonna lose our jobs and all kinds of stuff is gonna happen. Well, I dug him because he was like, you know, but so that's what was happening on that day in July.
And now?
And now looking back at that picture, I think that I was really happy that I caught that particular moment of Malcolm, because that never happened again. He never was ever doing that same kind of speaking on the street. After that, you couldn't get close to Malcolm at all. It was just, you know, everywhere he went, there was somebody with him, and you just couldn't get close or talk to him at all.
How about some of the other music guys?
Oh,
he plays the sax, so.
I play at that sax.
Pretty good to me.
Sonny Rollins told me I was a tenor player. He used to have a studio around the corner for me, and sometimes I'd see him on the street in the health food store. So he came over one day, and he said, I just came back from Japan, and he had this soprano saxophone, and they made it just for him. And he said, you know, you got that outro. He said, Adger, you're not, you know, you're not a soprano player, man. He said, you know, you're a tenor man. I said, I'm not playing the tenor because you play the tenor. It's too heavy, and I'm not going to do it. Anyway, I got a tenor. But that was at this club on 20th Street. I forget the name of it. I went in there that night, and I saw him, and I spoke with him for a minute, and then I kind of faded into the crowd. And I just like that shot because it deals with not, you know, most people like to show musicians performing. I like to catch those moments when they're somewhere else. You know, if they're performing somewhere else. Like this picture of Louis Armstrong over here. I didn't want to do the same kind of picture that everybody had, of Louis Armstrong smiling. I wanted him involved deep in what he was about. And I think I caught something there. That was on the cover of Theater Magazine, 1961.
Wow.
The picture of Dizzy. I had a friend, Gary Keys, who put together jazz shows, and he put together, in the other room there's a picture of a lot of musicians. That was from the same date, and it was called Dizzy's Dream Band. And I was there shooting pictures, and he hired me to do some work. And CBS sent their photographer, a guy I happen to know named Bob Green. And so Bob Green and I were talking, and I said, excuse me, I want to shoot some pictures. And this guy who was the producer from CBS said, what are you doing? Where are you from? And Gary yelled across the room, that's my nigga, leave him alone. Of course, the white guy, he was like this, you know. Gary was on the floor, Bob Green was on the floor, we were just cracking up. So that was from that session. Dexter, my man Dexter Gordon, you want to talk about a man who really, I still think, even to this day, he's one of the greats, but I think he's still underrated because I think a lot of people got stuff from Dexter because he was very measured in his way of playing and even in his way of talking. Sometimes he would talk the song before he played it. Dexter he was just one of the great players. And when he finished his set, wherever it was, he would hold up for the people, hold his section.
He was very international.
He was totally international, all over the world. They made that movie, Midnight Blues. That was a great movie. And he was like that, you know, as a person. You know, he's just actually playing himself in that movie. He's a really great person.
Actually, he played a sax player in the Central Park in the movie, this guy right here.
Stop.
It's not there. We go back almost 40 years.
So it was a movie called I'm Not Rapping For You. And it happened right by accident. I was working as a still photographer on the movie. And the guy who was supposed to play the scene that afternoon, he didn't show up. He asked me the day before, he said, are they really going to shoot this scene? Because, you know, in movies, they'll say, we're going to shoot, and then it's delayed, and then it's the next day. I said, yeah. I said, but you better show up tomorrow. He said, man, I got a thing for a gig. I said, you better show up for it, you know. I said, somebody else will do it. Of course, I didn't know it was gonna be me. So we're staying on the set, and the director said, "Oh, Jesus, Herb Gardner." He said, "I need the saxophone player." Somebody said, "Adger plays the saxophone." And he said, "Adger, can you play this thing?"
That's convenient.
I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, let's show me." So I said, he said, "Oh, put Adger in the scene, get him out." That's how it happened. Anyway.
What's the name of the film?
I'm not Rappaport.
That's my name.
Yeah. This is Ornette Coleman, who actually changed, he came up with another concept, jazz at that time, and everybody was screaming him down. But he came from Texas, and Ornette Coleman was just and an art collector and a very interesting character. But he had a different concept. I think if you can find the song "Lonely Woman," you'll really like it. "Lonely Woman." Yeah, that's a great piece. So we're good. Thank you.